Okay, good morning, dear colleagues and friends. I'm very happy to start this side event with many national experts from 29 countries who came here to learn something and to share their experiences and knowledge with everyone in the world. So on this side event, we will discuss status and experiences in the preparation of the National GHG Inventory system and capacity building needs and gaps that they are faced with. We will exchange lessons learned from national efforts to plan and implement mitigation actions by utilizing GHG inventories. We will share challenges and opportunities in transitioning from the current MRV system under the Convention to the Enhanced Transparency Framework, or ETF, of the Paris Agreement, and we will facilitate the peer-to-peer learning, networking, and collaborative climate action among national experts. So, today we will have 6 national experts who kindly agreed to be our panelists. Ms. Chit Meardey from Cambodia, Mr. Knollis Delle from Ghana, Mr. Prakash Lamichhane from Nepal, Mr. Henry Karshima from Nigeria, Ms. Olia Byukusenge from Rwanda, and Ms. Consuela Paloeng from Suriname. In their interventions, the panelists will share their views on the 3 burning questions. The first burning question is, what is the current GHG emissions and removal status in your country? So that's a key question for GHG data. Second, what are the barriers and challenges to the development of an inventory system and reporting transparent information on GHG emissions, which is totally vital under the ETF and the Paris Agreement? And the third question would be, what are the initial steps and support or opportunities required to improve the national capacities? So next thing is to do the congratulatory remarks by PATPA Secretariat from our Oscars. So this is going to be a little video played by our organizers. So please pay attention to the video. Thank you very much.
Distinguished guests, dear colleagues, good morning. It is a pleasure for me today to welcome you all at this side event, Enhancing Technical Capacity of Developing Countries, Challenges and Opportunities, with a focus on national greenhouse gas inventories. My name is Oscar Tarzo, and I'm the head of the Secretariat of the Partnership on Transparency in the Paris Agreement, PATPA. I would like to extend my gratitude to our colleagues at the Greenhouse Gas Inventory and Research Center of Korea, GIR, for organizing this event in the sidelines of the International Greenhouse Gas Conference. This is a great opportunity to bring together national experts from different countries to share experiences and learn on how to improve greenhouse gas inventories and implement the national mitigation targets. First, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate the graduates of this year's CASTT program. I wish you all continued success in your journey ahead and most interesting discussions and learnings on how to bring forward the climate transparency action. We count on you. Such dialogues like today's are very important for sharing countries' experiences on the compilation of greenhouse gas inventories and learning on how to address certain challenges that may arise from collecting sectoral data, engaging relevant ministries, and ensuring the quality and the reliability of the greenhouse gas inventory reports. As countries are transitioning to the Enhanced Transparency Framework under the Paris Agreement and are preparing their first biannual transparency reports, which are due by the end of this year, such opportunities for sharing experiences gain even more importance to promote bilateral and multilateral learning of good practices in enhancing national policy and institutional frameworks for the ETF, improving the accuracy and completeness of greenhouse gas inventories, and thereby contributing to the development and tracking of progress of both nationally determined contributions and long-term low-emission development strategies. At the Secretariat of the Partnership, we are supporting countries globally in strengthening their transparency systems through international and regional dialogues, capacity development, and targeted in-country support. Together with GIR, we are closely working on expanding the opportunities for countries to access more capacity development support and access most updated knowledge and information. We are regularly publishing various knowledge products to provide access to most recent tools, methodologies, and approaches to reporting greenhouse gas emissions and mitigation actions. I hope that today's exchange via the panel discussions and inputs will generate useful insights and experiences that all the participants can take home not only as inspirations, but also as a guidance and example to use and to work with. I wish you all a successful event.
Thank you very much for these greetings and congratulations. And now may I invite Ms. Chit Meardey from Cambodia to the stage. She is currently working in the Greenhouse Gas Inventory and Mitigation Division, Department of Climate Change, the Ministry of Environment in Cambodia. She is involved in the field monitoring activities for the Clean Development Mechanism and Joint Crediting Mechanism, as well as other carbon credit projects which are integral to national GHG emissions reducing strategies. Thank you. Now may I invite Mr. Knollis Delle from Ghana, who is currently serving as a young professional at the climate section of the Commonwealth Secretariat. He has been instrumental in shaping sustainability-focused policies, monitoring, reporting, and verification greenhouse gas emissions from the energy sector, successfully managing the executing complex of infrastructural projects that reduce carbon footprints, and championing sustainability initiatives, forging strategic partnerships with a wide-reaching impact. Next, I have an honor to invite Mr. Prakash Lamichhane from Nepal, who is a research officer at the Climate Change Management Division of Nepal's Ministry of Forestry and Environment, where he contributes to shaping national climate policy and reporting. With over 10 years of experience in environmental sector and forestry research, his work primarily focuses on preparing Nepal's greenhouse gas inventories and tracking progress on national climate commitments, such as biennial transparency report and biennial update report under UNFCCC. Our next panelist is Henry Karshima from Nigeria, who is motivated and experienced forestry and wildlife professional with a strong background in forestry inventory, management, and conservation. He has a proven track of success in leading projects and teams with expertise in agroclimatic resilience, sustainable and land management, and international relations. He possesses excellent communication international skills, with the ability to work effectively with diverse stakeholders, which is a great thing under the Paris Agreement, as we all know. Our next panelist is Olia Byukusenge from Rwanda. And Olia is a Rwandan climate scientist with experience in national greenhouse gas inventory compilation, climate change projections, and reporting. She is currently working with environmental analytics in Delle monitoring division at the Rwanda Environmental Management Authority. In her role, she provides technical support to the preparation of national inventory reports, national communications, biennial transparency reports, and other activities related to the implementation of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change and the Paris Agreement. And last but not the least, let me invite Ms. Consuela Paloeng from Suriname, who is having over 10 years experience in forest carbon management and greenhouse gas inventory for Suriname. Consuela focuses on the forest and other land uses sector. Your work plays a key role in Suriname's GHG inventory, including the third national communication, biennial update reports, forest reference emissions levels, and RED Plus technical annexes. So we have all our panelists on stage, and now we can start our panelist discussion. Thank you. So all panelists have about 10 minutes each to answer very, very important questions I mentioned before. And yes, please, first we will have Chief Meardey in Cambodia. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chiet Meardey. I'm from Ministry of Environment, Cambodia. Today, it's my great honor to be here to share about National Greenhouse Gas Inventory of Cambodia. Cambodia is a developing country, but we also vulnerable country that impact of climate change. Even we are a vulnerable country, but we still have high commitment to reduce climate change in the world by setting our policy, such as National NDC target in 2030, long-term strategy for carbon neutrality target in 2050, and we have other like BUR, 3 national communication, and especially about BTR. In Cambodia, we are working on a progress now with national and international consultants. Not only policy, but we also have an institutional arrangement for climate change management. This is a National Council for Sustainable. For the board of National Council for Sustainable, our board is Prime Minister in Cambodia, and also Department of Climate Change. This is a secretary of NCSD, and also we have a climate change technical working group and other relevant stakeholders in Cambodia too. So for Cambodia NDC, we set commitment target in 2030 to reduce 41.7% by 5 sectors: agriculture, LULUCF, IPPU, energy, and waste. But for all those sectors, they have different percentage that is reduced greenhouse gas inventory by 50% reduced from LULUCF sector, and 40% reduction from energy sector, 23% from agriculture, 42% from IPPU, and 80% from waste sector. This is the main sector in Cambodia that we have mentioned in long-term strategy for carbon neutrality to be net zero in 2050. For key mitigation action in Cambodia, we have like agriculture sector, LULUCF, waste, IPPU. But for Cambodia, the high emission, this is from AFULO sector. So we commit to reuse chemical fertilizer by promoting organic composting fertilizer. And also related to LULUCF sector, Cambodia, we have a target to increase forest cover from 44% to 60% by 2050. This is achievement of Cambodia that we have cooperation with Global Green Growth Institute that produced the Article 6 of Operation Manual of Paris Agreement. We have 2 versions, English and Cambodian language. That is very successful that we work with GGGI for 2 years, and we also provide enhanced capacity to National Sub-Working Group of Greenhouse Gas Inventory in Cambodia to publish this book. And this is after we publish Article 6 of Operation Manual, a lot of international journalists, they publish about what Cambodia doing and our achievement related to carbon credit and also about Article 6. For Article 6 Operation Manual, this is a detailed framework that show about the transfer, ITMO, and authorization under Article 6 of Operation Manual. Previous time, Cambodia sold the carbon credit in 2016, the price only $6 0.3 USD per unit. But in 2024, we can show carbon credit, the price is higher than previous time. It's 15.72 USD per unit. This is international collaboration with Singapore. Cambodia have signed MOU with Singapore for collaboration of Article 6 carbon credit of Paris Agreement, that we want to share both countries to achieve our NDC together, even Cambodia or Singapore. And this is another achievement that Cambodia have signed MOU with Korea on June this year, 2024, also about the implementation of Article 6 of Paris Agreement. Recently, Cambodia, we have circular strategy on environment. Those are 3 pillars that mention about clean, green, and sustainable. Clean is mean clean pollution, to reduce pollution on the land, reduce pollution in the water, and reduce pollution in the air. And for green, we also have 3 elements, like green to improve protection of, to improve our protected area management, reduce illegal cutting. And the other one, green is mean improve planting forests in Cambodia to achieve 60% by 2050 to be sustainable. And this is activity plastic campaign that all the students, all the school in Cambodia, they must apply plastic campaign. It means at least 1 day per week, you're not allowed to use plastic in the school, even school or pagoda or public area. And this year we have it's our vision of sharing 3 sampling to all the public, 1 million trees. So every year, start from this year, we will share the 3 sampling to publish 1 million trees every year, start from this year to be green. And this is creative idea in Cambodia that I want to mention. Coconut tree, it's not mean the school that sell coconut, but it is the school that they build by use waste disposal by creative. This is the school that they design from Heineken bottle, and this is like a bottle hack that they can build the school for poorest family. They can enter this school for free, and also the coffee shop in the coconut tree, when they earn some money, and then the money will donate in this school. It is best location in Kirirom National Park in Cambodia. The other thing, it's just simple thing, but we can reduce a lot of greenhouse gas emission in Cambodia. We apply 3R principle, reuse, reduce, recycle, by plastic campaign, and we promote composting fertilizer, and also we have the project of marine plastic project. So they will dive into the sea to collect all the plastic in the sea, in the beach, to be clean in Cambodia, to promote tourism. And the other attractive, other creative ideas is the corn. After you eating the corn, and then mostly you throw it out. But Cambodia, we can recycle from the corn cover, to be flour, and then we can sell it out. The price at least $30 per bunch of flour. That is very popular in Cambodia right now. And thank you so much for your listening.
Thank you very much for your presentation. That is very exciting to hear the efforts that Cambodia is making in achieving its obligations under the Paris Agreement and making generally the life, ecological life on the planet much better. It's a great example. We have not a huge country, but with absolutely huge effort to achieve the obligations. Let me pass the microphone to Mr. Knollis Delle from Ghana to share his views on the questions that we discussed before. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Knollis Delle. I'm going to be giving you a quick overview of Ghana's greenhouse gas inventory, talk a little bit about our NDC, and make more time for our discussions that will follow after. So this is just a quick outline of my presentation and a quick profile about me. Fun fact, I love learning new languages. I can speak French, Mandarin, a little bit of Spanish, and I'm looking to learn Arabic. So if there's anyone who speaks Arabic here, I'm happy to connect after this. Okay, so a quick overview about Ghana. Ghana is located in West Africa, for those who may not be aware. Ghana has a population of 32.83 million as of 2021. We have a land size of 238,533 square kilometers. And Ghana is a leading producer of gold in Africa. And for those of you who like chocolate, Ghana is the second largest producer of cocoa in the world. So when you're tracking your personal emissions, you can trace it back to Ghana's agriculture sector. And Ghana is also an oil and gas producer. This is a timeline of Ghana's journey when it comes to climate action. Ghana joined the UNFCCC in 1995, and since then, there's been a lot of national commitments to climate action. We prepared our first national communication in 2001, and after that, we've been able to deliver 4 national communications and 4 BURs. And I think the lesson in Ghana has been to learn by doing. You only get better by doing as well. Ghana has also submitted a second NDC with increased ambition. Into the discussion. So just a quick overview of Ghana's NDC. There are 47 programs of action that the government is hoping to deploy to contribute to climate action globally, and 19 policy actions focusing on 11 sectors with 8 socioeconomic outcomes. And we are looking at an investment requirement of 9.3 to 15.5 billion for the next 10 years. And we are hoping that these policy actions will contribute to emission reduction of around 64 metric tons of CO2, and also bring about some social benefits as well. We have some adaptation measures and mitigation measures in there. For the mitigation measures, 9 are unconditional. That's the government is committing its resources to addressing those 9, and the remaining are unconditional. We're hoping to get international support for that. So getting into the weeds, how does greenhouse gas inventory preparation in Ghana start? It usually starts with a review of comments and feedback in our previous BURs and inventory to try to incorporate them into the next cycle. And the team conducts a literature review to try and understand new methodologies to improve the quality of our inventory. And this is followed by trying to identify key data sources, which is very important because in the most recent inventory, we discovered data on SF6. So that's the value of trying to seek out new data sources. And then the team works together to put together the inventory, which is compiled and published. There's a more comprehensive institutional arrangement that I'm going to get into. Okay, so in Ghana, the preparation of greenhouse gas inventories receives high-level interest for the minister responsible for environment. And then there's a designated greenhouse gas entity, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, because it's a regulator and has the legal mandate to collect some types of data and can also crack the whip on those institutions that may prove difficult when it comes to getting access to data. And within the Environmental Protection Agency, we have a coordinator who handles the compilation of inventories. And then the inventory preparation is decentralized. So we have sectoral experts who contribute to the process as well. And our public universities are involved when it comes to quality assurance, quality control, and of course, data management as well. So this diagram just gives an overview of how the data flows through the various sectoral teams, to the compilation office, and receives final approval from the Minister for Environment. Okay, so this is an overview of our inventories and the methodological tiers that are used in Ghana. It's very interesting to note that when it comes to the industrial sector, there are actually some plant-specific data that is provided by the Volta Aluminium Corporation, which is a aluminum smelting facility in Ghana. So we're able to get some plant-specific data from them. Apart from that, it's mostly default data from the energy sector. We're able to get some tier 2 data as well. So taking a look at the emissions profile, the emissions are largely from the energy sector because Ghana's energy mix has a lot of natural gas in there. And occasionally, we have to use light crude oil when there are gas shortages. And in Ghana, we break down the AFOLU into agriculture and LULUCF. But when you put it together, you get a different picture altogether. The industry sector accounts for very little, which is 3.2%, because industrial activity in the country is not that much. So getting into it, so when you look at the IPPU sector, the reason why it's not that much is the largest contributor is the cement industry. There's only one integrated cement plant. The rest just do grinding in there. And when it comes to aluminum smelting, there's also one facility, and the facility runs on hydropower. So the emissions from there are also not that much. And we're going to the energy sector, just like I was saying, we use a lot of natural gas and oil, but the oil is mostly goes into transportation purposes. But occasionally we have to use oil when there are gas shortages. All right, so we are not just emitting, but there are national ambitions to try to curb emissions as well. To do that, Ghana is trying to promote efficient kiln because there's a lot of charcoal used in country for cooking. So in the clean cooking sector, Ghana is trying to produce improved cook stoves and has a policy to improve LPG adoption to at least 50% of the population. Ghana is also pursuing a nuclear power policy to supply a more stable baseload electricity. And we are also undertaking a fuel switching initiative, which is trying to move our single cycle gas power plant to combined cycle. And we're also promoting the adoption of renewable energy, both rooftop and grid tied systems as well. And in generally trying to promote energy efficiency as well. And in the transport sector, Ghana is also actively promoting electric mobility, railway, non-motorized transport, and trying to change old fleets of vehicles to newer ones. So these are just some of the progress that has been made so far. Ghana has made some progress when it comes to the advancement of new renewable energy technology. So we have 2 hydro sources, but when it comes to solar, these are some of the solar systems that have been installed so far. We have a renewable energy master plan, which is guiding the deployment of renewable energy in country. And the conversion of our thermal power plants to run on natural gas, we're at 95% state of completion. The nuclear power program has also advanced. Ghana has worked to identify some strategic partners for that. LPG promotion is going, and the rest are for clean cooking as well. And Ghana has also operationalized the carbon market. So Ghana's carbon market is open for business for those who may be interested. And yeah, so this is just for the IPPU sector, even though the emissions are not much, but the government is pursuing efforts to try and reduce emissions from appliances such as refrigerators and cooling. And we're hoping to have reductions of around 0.34 metric tons of CO2 per year. All right, so that's it for Ghana. Thank you very much for your audience. I'll be looking forward to your questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Delle. And it was wonderful to see the insights into Ghana's inventory. But most of all, I wanted to emphasize a key message from the presentation. The best way to achieve something and to learn something is do it. Don't be afraid. There are things like country-specific emission factors, plant-specific emission factors, etc. They will not come out of the thin air. You have to work on it to develop them, and you have to start now if you want to achieve something by your next BTR. So thank you very much for that message too. And now I would like to invite Mr. Prakash Lamichhane from Nepal to share his insight of Nepalese inventory and the efforts under the Paris Agreement and the challenges. Thank you.
Hello everyone, good morning. I'm very happy to present my national greenhouse gas inventories and some of my country insights in front of you. Thank you for the opportunity. I work in Ministry of Forest and Environment in Nepal. There I am dedicated to prepare BUR and BTR this year. So I am just there for 6 months. So I am going to present the last report country submitted during the third national communications. Thank you. Here is the brief content of my presentation. I'm going to present my national circumstances in brief about my country and the status of GHG inventory, the challenge and limitations we are facing to prepare the GHG inventory, and there are some alarming needs and supports that could be right away for the preparation of GHG inventory. Nepal is a landlocked country. It's between India, Bangladesh, and China. It is renowned with amazing landscape and multicultural societies, and also the multicultural livelihoods there, and also the Mount Everest is the main symbol to recognize the country. Okay. Here's the geography and climate of Nepal. Nepal is not that big country, but it's only 147,000 square kilometer, and it is 800 kilometer long and 200 kilometer in wide. But between this 200 kilometer, you can find all climatic variables there, and from it ranges from 59 meter to top of the wall from the sea level. So you can find amazing biodiversity, amazing climate variables there. This is the events and that is happening of climate crisis there, because lots of landslides, floods, and climatic catastrophes is being happened nowadays in recent years. That's why we are in climate crisis. Number of the district that is more vulnerable to climate is increasing, and many districts are in the risk of climate change. And this is the increasing number of events in different way. So you can find the Nepal is going to be in a big crisis as the Himalayas are and mountains are they are melting, and also the climatic catastrophes are there happening. Since increasing vulnerability, the climate budget in Nepal is insignificant. So government is not taking the climate change actions in priority, maybe due to financial circumstances. If you look at the German Watch report in 2029, Nepal is in climate risks. all these indicators like CRI rank, CRI score, fatalities and losses due to the climate change, you can see the Nepal is in vulnerable stage. This is the visual representation of that report and the indices. To prepare the GHG inventory, we have this kind of institutional arrangement. Ministry of Forest and Environment is responsible to prepare GHG inventory, and we have project management office there, and we have hired some experts and consultants, and also to make up and to build the interministerial cooperation, we have formed one technical expert group, and within this technical expert group, there are representatives from different ministries. Those ministries are responsible for data collection and also providing some technical inputs. In GHG inventory, we have reported these 4 sectors, as we all know, because this is the all 4 sectors we report. But in some cases, in some countries, they do not report some sector, but we have reported all 4 sectors. And you can see by sector, the energy is the most important sector, highly contributing sector in GHG inventories, and after followed by the FOLU sector. And IPPU and waste sector is not that significant contributors, as Nepal is not grown as industrial country. So it is not that significant amount of IPPU GHG emissions. And you can also see the gas-wise emission in Nepal, almost, yeah. You can see the CO2, carbon dioxide, is in negative percentage, because high amount of methane is released from agricultural sector. That's why even having removal from the LULUCF, FOLU sector is contributing to the emissions after energy due to the methane emitted from the agricultural sector. And this is the sectoral information. As you can see, in FOLU sector, the carbon dioxide is in removal because of the forest, because Nepal comprised of 45% of land area as forest. That's why LULUCF is the major contributor in removal. But at the same time, Nepal is a agricultural country. Most of the people depend upon the agricultures. That's why agriculture sector is emitting more methane. That's why contributing to the higher CO2 equivalent. Yeah, energy sector is the main contributor, and we have not that significant amount of emissions from IPPU as well as waste sector. And this is the history of greenhouse gas inventory. As Nepal was restructuring the agencies, restructuring the ministries, there was no clear appointment of climate change reporting before. That's why we don't have recorded the GHG inventory after 2011. So I'm sorry to present the inventory from 2011. This is the trend of GHG emissions in our country. You can see the IPPU and waste sector is not contributing more, but the energy sector is growing up. And this is the projection for GHG inventory, as Nepal is targeted to be a net zero emission in 2045. Still, we have to do a lot to decrease our emissions. And these are the challenges we face. I think most of the developing countries have the same challenges. And the main challenge for us is data management and availability of data. Inconsistent institutional structure because of the bureaucratic change and restructuring of the countries. Responsibilities of climate change reporting has been changed in years. That's why it's being a challenge for us to collect the data and find out the consistency of availability of data. And there is a poor interministerial cooperation, but nowadays we are strengthening them using YAMRV system and building good institutional memory. And financial resources are very less for mitigation actions, especially for the FOLU sector. There is no new technology, no awareness to the farmers, and no awareness to the FOLU sector users. So emission from the FOLU sector is going up. And capacity, we are lacking both institutional and personal capacity, as we are early learners, and also the inconsistent institutional structure made us every time new people is coming there, every 2 years new people is coming there. That's why there is no institutional memory and no capacity building in consistent manner. And there is a lack of GHG expertise in our country. Even we have hired consultant from the national. They are national consultants, but they have limited experience of GHG inventory. That's why we are having the problem. There is a lack of understanding of the mechanism of scenario building, projections, data analysis. That is also lacking in my country. And there is no effective policy assessment also. And that is also the difficulties for us. Yeah, this is the alarming needs and supports to my country. It is instantly needed to prepare even for BTR now by the end of this year. There is capacity lacking, so we need institutional capacity and technology and support in the database management. There is a needs of training and workshop for national experts to prepare GHG inventory, and there is other needs like financial support for mitigation actions, database management, data keeping, everything. And also for the private sector in Nepal, the private sector needs to be changed into the green technology, newer technology with the low carbon emissions. Lots of small industries in Nepal, they come to the ministry and they seek support from the ministry of for the technology advancement and low carbon technology. We have failed to provide them effective means to support. That is the case in my country. Thank you for your patience, and thank you organizers for providing me this opportunity to present here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prakash, for sharing the pain that climate change brings to Nepal, that beautiful country that everybody admires. And thank you very much for bringing together the networks between the private, educational, and government offices to fight this climate change impacts together. Thank you. And now may I invite Mr. Henry Karshima from Nigeria to share his views on the greenhouse gas inventory, challenges, and potential progress in Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. My name is Henry Karshima. I am from Nigeria. I want to start to say that I am very, very happy to be on this podium to speak the Nigerian situation on the GHG emission. This is a dream come true for me to be on the international podium to speak on behalf of my country. So I want to thank the organizers so much. And I also want to thank my colleagues from other countries too for their interactions and every other thing. Thank you so much. Yes, before I start my presentation, I want to say that the total emission for Nigeria in 2020, it's about 126.9 million ton of emissions. And 60% of this emission comes from the energy sector. And in 2015, in COP 2015, my former president, retired, President Muhammadu Buhari, made a commitment to that convention that Nigeria will plant about 1 billion trees to be able to curtail the GHG emission. And so far, so good in the FOLU sector, especially in the Department of Forestry. We have been able to plant 580,000 trees, and then we look forward to complete that commitment the president made at the COP 2015. So this is the content of my presentation. Sorry, I have to take the mic off. Yeah, thank you. This is the content of my presentation. Chapter 1, I'll be talking about the circumstances for the country. Chapter 2, the National GHG Inventory. Chapter 3, mitigation targets and action, including policies. Chapter 4, institutional arrangements for GHG emission and compilation. Chapter 5, GHG compilation procedure and methodology. Chapter 6, achievements of progress, limitations, improvements, and then the last one, information you would like to introduce or share to fellow participants. This is the circumstances for Nigeria emission. First of all, Nigeria is located in the western part of Africa, and we have a population of 229 million, which is the biggest in Africa. And we are also vulnerable to issues of climate change. Progress made so far. We have been able to submit our BUR document recently in 2022. And the report and the submission highlights the emission in the various sectors. We have 24.7.3 metric ton of CO2 in 2029, and then 25.4 metric ton of CO2 in 2020. In the energy sector, there was a decline in the emission because I first said that 60% was from the energy sector, but since 1999, we had our refineries down, where you have the major emission, and then the emission dropped down to 55.6%. And then we have the agricultural sector, which is about 24.1% total emission. We have also updated our national determined contribution to 2022. And the major highlights of that contribution is, one is to reduce GHG emission by 20% below business as usual in 2030. Also increase the use of renewable energy to 30% of total energy consumption by 2030. National communication, we have also submitted one. Currently, we are intending to submit the next one by, we were supposed to submit it by August of this month, but due to some challenges, we have moved it forward, and then we have not submitted yet. In that national communication document, there was provision made on a GHG emission inventory, climate change impacts and the vulnerability assessment, national policies and measures to address the climate change. Some of the challenges we actually faced in trying to mitigate or to reduce GHG in Nigeria. Number one, accurate GHG data collection and reporting. Because we have different sectors, it is a challenge to be able to get data from all the sectors, as we have professionals in all the different sectors, and then trying to compile or to gather this data from them is always a challenge. So it is one of the challenges we had. We also have limited capacity for climate change mitigation and adaptation. Basically, this is very, very important for me to be on this podium here to have the training on how to come up with a GHG emission for my country. Nigeria is a developing country, and we have been having challenges in terms of profitability. Yes, of course, the government is trying, and we have been trying too. But sometimes some of the data collected, some uncertainties. But what I understand and what I know is that for you to get this data, the uncertainties and the challenges does not really matter. The most important thing that matters is for you to continue to work and to strive and to get this data. Definitely you have the international experts who could work and be able to clean up this data for the data to be published. Dependency on international support for climate change initiative. Yes, we seek international support for to be able to carry out the reduction in GHG in Nigeria. Of course, it is not easy. For instance, I will just give you one instance. The country assessment to be able to get global finance it's a bit difficult, as the technicalities involved in assessing global finance is very tough in the African continent. And then my submission and what I want to crave the international community to do is to at least to reduce the technicalities, because I notice from my working experience that most African countries, even in Nigeria, we have not been able to assess some of the global climate change finance. And then so I crave on the international community to reduce some of the technicalities. It is tough because basically we always try to involve the technical experts, and for how long we would continue to do that. We need the skills, we need this capacity, and that is why I am here, and that is why I'm very, very happy. Some of the opportunities and improvements. Strengthening national institution and capacity for climate change management, enhancing data collection and reporting system, leveraging international support and partnership in addressing climate change. We would not stop leveraging on this, because we need the international community to be able to get support and to be able to see how we can reduce the emission of GHG in Nigeria. These are the future plans to submit frequently the BURs, BRTs, the FREL, and some national communication to the UNFCCC. Yes, before I move to the institutional arrangement for Nigeria, politically, the collection of the GHG data in Nigeria is bestowed by the Ministry of Environment, and the head of the Ministry of Environment is a political appointee. He is not an expert there. Of course, you have experts surrounding him, but the final saying always comes from the political head. And then at some point, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria deemed it fit that for Nigeria to be able to submit some of these very international key documents timely, a group of experts and the institutional arrangement was changed. The National Climate Change Council was formed in 2023. And then it is no longer headed by the Honorable Minister of Environment, but it is headed by a director who is an expert in the issues of the climate change. Enhanced GHG inventory management and reporting system, implementing national climate change policies and measures, including the NDC under the Paris Agreement. It is very important and it is very key that all these documents be published to be able to help the country to report its GHG emission. National GHG Inventory. Nigeria's most national GHG inventory was submitted in 2022. It covers emissions from 2020 to 2027. The report outlines emissions from various sectors, including energy, agriculture, waste management. These are some of the statistics. Total emission is 247,306.2 GHG carbon dioxide equivalent in 2027, with a growth rate of 3.2% per annum from 2000 to 2027. Sectorial breakdown. Energy sector alone is about 57.3. Initially, from the beginning, I say it was 60%, but we due to the breakdown of some of the refineries where you have the major emission there, the GHG emission has been broken down to 57. So it is not really steady, like I first reported that it was 60%. So we have agricultural sector, which is 24.1%. We have waste management, 4.4%. Sorry, there is a keynote down. The statistics highlighted the need for Nigeria to transition to cleaner energy source and adopt sustainable practices in agriculture and waste management to reduce GHG emission. Mitigation, reduce GHG emission by 2%, 20% below business as usual, as reported from my first slide. Achieve a net zero emission by 2050. Sectorial mitigation, we have a transition to renewable energy source That's solar wind, which is the normal trend right now, the recent trend. 30% electricity by 2030. Improve energy efficiency by 20% through retrofitting and efficient lighting, and then promote electric vehicles and public transportation. I think this is currently going on in the first world countries. So, sorry, my slide are much. I will just move faster. Okay, institutional arrangement. I've already mentioned this, so no need. I will just move faster. This is the current institutional arrangement. This is the previous one, just like I explained. Okay, capacity building. We actually need a lot of capacity building to be able to help us to be able to report Nigerian emission. So I call upon the international community to see how they can help Nigeria and also the African continent to report their GHG. So we need capacity building so much. So this is the compilation procedure and methodology. Of course, I will not just speak on all of this. We are using both tier 1 and tier 2 in compilation. So this is just a summary of what is here. I'm sorry, this slide is much. So this is the key categories analysis for the table for key categories analysis for Nigeria. So you just take a look at it. I'm not going to be explaining it one by one. It's just figures, and then you just look at it and then you take note. So this is the table for GHG emission for Nigeria, especially in the Afolo sector. Basically, the Afolo sector is actually doing a lot of work in trying to reduce GHG emission in Nigeria, just like I explained from my first slide, and the commitment of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So this is the table for the Afolo GHG emission. Some of the achievements we have made: we established a National Climate Change Committee. We also had development of a National Climate Change policy to be able to help the reduction in GHG emission in Nigeria. Submission of national determined contribution too. It's part of the efforts we have been doing in Nigeria. Launch of a renewable energy program. Implementation of energy efficiency measures in Nigeria. And the progress continues. Greenhouse emission reduction, renewable energy capacity, energy efficiency improvements, sustainable land use practices, climate change awareness. Of course, it is key because most of the emissions coming from the Afolo sector, especially in the forestry sector in the past, was as a result of bush burning. But due to the Red Plus activity and the program in Nigeria, we have been able to carry out a lot of campaign in the communities to help reduction in the bush burning in Nigeria. We didn't just carry only the campaign, we had to do some livelihood enhancement because the community and the common man needs the forest for his livelihood. So there is no way for us to just cut the common man from getting livelihood from the forest. So we had done a lot of livelihood enhancement through issuing of improved cooking stoves. These are some of the challenges we have: limited financing, infrastructure gap, data gap, and these are the future plans. Yes, I have already spoken about limited in the resources in trying to get some of this data to report Nigeria GHG. The government processes in Nigeria at some point will take some time for the government to be able to release some funds for the department and the agencies responsible. So it is giving us setback in trying to report some of the GHG emissions that we need to do to the international community. So these are some of the limitations: data quality and availability, limited financing, infrastructural gap, I've reported that, institutional capacity, policy regulatory framework. Areas of improvement enhance data collection and management, that is improve data collection and management system to ensure high quality GHG emission data, mobilize financing, explore innovative financing mechanism and partnership to mobilize domestic and international resources for GHG reduction, upgrade infrastructure, prioritize infrastructure upgrade in energy and transportation sector to support low carbon development. I think the transportation sector in Nigeria too is one of the highest emitter of GHG in Nigeria. Sorry, I will just run through. This is too much. These are some of the recommendations I have tried to make to my superior at work. Development of national climate change data management, which is what we actually don't have at the moment. It is very important that we have this so that it can help us for reporting. Establish a climate change finance unit, and develop a low carbon infrastructure development plan. Implement a capacity building program to help most of the people involved in collection of the GHG data from the different agencies and sectors in Nigeria. Review and strengthen policy and regulatory framework. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Henry. And well, that's an amazing insight. And I'm especially thankful to you for emphasizing the importance of good, reliable data. This is a problem for every country. And getting good, reliable data requires the personal and institutional capacity building, and that is not possible without interactions and collaboration with other countries and experts. So that's very great insight. Thank you. Now, I wanted to warn all the presenters that each of us has a lot of experience and knowledge associated with inventory in MRV, climate change MRV. It's very hard to put it all in 10 minutes. But let's try and put the next two presentations in 10 minutes each. So next, may I invite Olive Byukusenge from Rwanda to share with us the ideas and knowledge on greenhouse gas emissions in Rwanda, challenges and opportunities for the country. Thank you very much, Olive.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Olive Byukusenge. I work under Rwanda Environment Management Authority, and I'm in charge of greenhouse gas inventory. It's my honor to be here presenting my country's experience of GHG compilation. And before I start, allow me to extend my gratitude to this conference organizers and the UNFCCC-GIR-CASTT for giving me this opportunity. My presentation will cover this content. I will not go through of my content because I'm going to present them. Starting to Rwanda national circumstances, Rwanda is located to east central of Africa. Rwanda has 26,338 square kilometers, and 30% of our land is covered by forests. We have economy based on agriculture, but nowadays service and tourism is increasing. We have a very favorable climate, which we have to protect by sticking on GHG emission reduction. Our mean temperature oscillates between 20 degrees Celsius and 22 degrees Celsius, and we have the annual mean precipitation of 850 and 1,600 millimeters. Rwanda took a place to become to join a global community for seeking the climate change, to become for seeking climate change resilient. By joining UNFCCC for being UNFCCC policy signatory in 1992 and ratification of 1998, and Rwanda became a Paris Agreement signatory 2016. By fulfilling the commitment, Rwanda have submitted the first national communication in 2005, followed by the second national communication 2012. We have submitted the intended national determination contribution 2015, followed by the third national communication 2018, and we were the first country to submit NDC 2020, and we submitted the first biennial update report, which will be followed by BTR at the end of this year. Rwanda Greenhouse Gas Inventory Management System, of course, we established the institutional arrangement to be consistent and to have accuracy of GHG. The Ministry of Environment is overall coordinator of GHG compilation and the policy. We have REMA, Rwanda Environment Management Authority, in charge of inventory compilation. Under REMA, we have NDC MRV Technical Working Committee. This is the committee that help Rwanda Environment Management Authority to compile and to correct the data within their sectors. It is made by 4 sectors that is indicated in the IPCC guidelines. We have a team from energy sector. Those are made by private and government experts that are working on energy. We have a team from IPPU. We also have a team from West, and we have a team from AFORU as well. We use financial support as well from external, as well as the government support. To seek on consistency and transparency, Rwanda has put in place the methodology and the process of national GHG compilation, from data collection to final national inventory report. Of course, this process reflects to IPCC guidelines, where we started with the desk review of the available data and the key category. We follow by selecting the methodology according to the data we have. And because on our key categories, we use Tier 1 and Tier 2 methodology. And we do that for all sectors till we have the final report. The GHG emission and removal from the current inventory, we have been having the sync from 2006 till 2017, where we start having becoming a meter. This graph shows the share of each sector in contribution of emission. You can see to 2006, Rwanda has a big share from AFORU, not AFORU as the whole sector, but for forests, where we covered the sink of, where we had 62.72% of 4,033 for the total gigagram emission, and other sector followed with high emission was energy. In 2008, AFORU, which was also have forests and livestock and other part of AFORU, had the 49%. As you can see to the other trend, yes, the sink is increasing. Those are the emission sink from AFORU, but again, emission also is increasing. We set the mitigation through our NDC. Our NDC target is to reduce 38% by 2030. at 2015, we had 5.3 gigagram of emission, and when we do a projection, we found out 2030 we'll be having 12, and the government sets the target of reducing those emissions to 38%. Those are the contribution of each sector to achieve that goal, where the waste have 0.63, and IPPU has 0.13. Energy have 1.33. The reason why energy and agriculture have the highest ambition than the other sector is because our key categories emission are based in energy and agriculture, where energy, the transport is the highest, the key category, and agriculture is land use and land change, as well as livestock. After establishing our commitment, Rwanda established the measurement, reporting, and verification, which has this. Minister of Environment is the chair of environment and climate change sector. REMA also chair the thematic working group, and National Institute of Statistics, they are in charge of correcting the data and the report to REMA, and REMA compiled the progress of NDC. Ministry of Finance is in charge of mobilizing the finance that indicated in our NDC. We also set the policy and the strategies, because without having a governance from political will, it can delay our commitment. Rwanda was among of the Africans, first African country to submit NAPA, which is National Adaptation Program. It states the increment of adaptation plan in a country long-term plan. We have also GGCLIS, which is a growth and the climate resilience strategy that highlights our long-term commitment toward the neutral carbon. Also, one of the recommendations from GGCLIS was to establish the institution which will be in charge of finance mobilization, and now we have Rwanda Green Fund. They mobilize domestic and international funds. We also have environment and climate change policy. We have been having this policy before, but it was stick on environment, now integrated climate change. One of our achievements, we have developed the emission factors from our key categories in a waste generation per capita, emission factor for biomass as well, because biomass have highlighted that as being the key category in our inventory. We have also developed emission factor for clinker as one of the key category in our IPPU sector. Also, we developed the emission factor and the methodology for estimating GHG for gas methane. We have challenges as other countries, but let me say one of them. We really need a platform to share our country experience. Like now, it's good, but we don't have that stated platform where countries can share experience, and then we can learn each other. And we strengthen our compilation of national GHG. We also have a need to build the capacity for our national experts rather than always relying on international experts. This is my presentation ends here. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Olive, and thank you for showing us how the inventory is going in Rwanda and how it's structured. And I was most impressed with the amount of country-specific emission factors you have developed. It's just amazing. It's a way to go. Next, I would like to invite our last panelist, but not the least, Ms. Consuela Paloeng from Suriname. Consuela, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Yes, good morning. Thank you. My name is Consuela Paloeng. I'm the Forest Carbon and Reporting Specialist, and I'm from the Forestry Authority of Suriname. I'm also glad to be here and share my experience and knowledge regarding the circumstances of Suriname. My presentation will have a short country profile followed by the national report submitted to the UNFCCC. I will give a brief status of the greenhouse gas inventory in Suriname, and I will end my presentation with the experiences and challenges we encountered. Suriname is a small country. We have a country surface of 16.4 million hectares, from which 92% is forest. We have a small population, only 600,000 people, very diverse of culture, mostly due to the immigrants from Indonesia, China, India, and Africa. As this map shows, my country with a lot of forests, and the main driver of deforestation is due to mining and infrastructure. As you may see on the map here, it is a specific region in our country where the gold mining activities occurs. Just a brief government structure, more related to climate change, is the Ministry of Environment and the Ministry of Land Policy and Forest Management. So we, as the Forest Authority, is the technical working institution of the Ministry of Forest Management, and I work in the Forest Cover Monitoring Unit, where the National Forest Monitoring System is being implemented, including the MRV for forestry and other land uses. There is no national institutional arrangement yet, but we made sure that we contribute to the different reports submitted to the UNFCCC. So for that case, the case of the third national communication, the coordination was under the Ministry of Environment, and they worked together with a project implementation team that closely work with technical expert group of different sectors, and the one we have contributed was the technical expert group of greenhouse gas inventory and mitigation assessment. Here is an overview of the report that has been submitted to the UNFCCC. We have a lot of reports submitted from the NDC to the national communication, and we also submitted the forest reference emission level in the case of RED+. We are now in the stage of preparing the first BTR. Beside this report, we also want to submit our RED+ technical annex for the years 2023 and 2022. And we will submit our updated NDC in 2025. Very ambitious, but as my colleague said yesterday, every initial step is a good way forward to contribute to climate change issues. So that is a good step from us. The second national determined contribution, as it might not be quantified yet, it will be improved or updated in the next NDC, which will be submitted next year. This was the primary target, reducing emission, but also promoting sustainable development in our country. These are the key objectives: maintain the carbon negative status due to the fact that we have more than 90% of forests in our country, enhance the forest conservation, implement climate adaptation strategy, integrate renewable energy in our country, improve energy efficiency, but also build resilience in vulnerable communities in our country. We would like to emphasize that it is only possible to achieve these goals with support and contribution from international organizations, as we are a developing country with little human resource and not that enough of financial resources. We have a roadmap. Sorry for not clear presentation of the roadmap, but just give you an idea, we have the roadmap for the implementation of the NDC that covers 2020 until 2030, where we will implement the NAP, the National Adaptation Plan, but also execute the mitigation action in our country. Here's a brief overview of the greenhouse gas emission in Suriname. We are a net sink country where we have a lot of removal coming from the forestry sector, but the main sources of emission from our country is the energy sector, which cover 85% of the emission, followed by the Afolu sector, that is more due to the gold mining activities that occurs in our country. As I said, we did gain capacity, but also expand experience in greenhouse gas inventory calculation. Therefore, we were able to develop our forest reference emission level in the context of REDD+ by our own national institutes. So for that, we have submitted 3 forest reference emission levels. This is also based on the stepwise approach that UNFCCC advises countries to do. So with that, we received, or did not receive incentives yet, but we achieved REDD+ results of 18 million ton carbon dioxide based on our 2 FRELs. So for the 3rd FREL, we would like to also achieve some ITMOs for the years 2022 and 2023. This is important process for us because due to the technical assessment that is being done on these reports, we could receive feedbacks from international experts and improve our greenhouse gas inventory, including the methodology and also the activity data gathering and the development of country emission factors. Some experience and challenges, I think it's the most important, especially for the fact that we are a developing country with, again, little human resources and little finances. We do manage to gather country-specific information. All credits to the team that goes into the field to do this kind of hard work. So for that, I just want to say better updated data leads to better policy and especially planning for our country. We also try to incorporate new technology, as you can see in the picture here, executing validation of the maps using drone technology. We do also have engagement trainings with, on a national scale with several sectors in order to also improve their capacity as it comes to greenhouse gas inventory. Again, this is very hard work. And a lot of resources is needed to be able to do these kind of activities. This is a last recent picture of my team, which was busy with the Mapathon. This was the gathering of land use, land cover changes in my country. As we also believe alone you can go fast, but together you can go further. So with this opportunity also, we like to improve our methodology in our country in order to provide accurate and comprehensive greenhouse gas inventory to the UNFCCC. Just the challenges, but I think my colleagues here on this podium have also provided the challenges. I will only emphasize the last one, that is the financial barrier, and limited funding is also occurring in my country, and it is very important if you want the comprehensive greenhouse gas inventory, including the data collection and all other aspect that is necessary to have this report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Consuela. It's great. Indeed, we are going further together, and this forum proves just that. So guys, we ran out of time. So we can have only one burning question from the audience. And the rest of questions no less burning, but still probably you want to discuss them. Let's do it during lunchtime or when we can converse together. Okay, one burning question from the audience, please. I don't see any hands, which means I can say just the last words for today, for this forum. And that's that climate change that we can see from all the presentations from all the panelists is not something to believe or disbelieve. It's tangible and very painful reality that hurts people and hurts economies. And therefore, it's our duty to make absolutely every effort to provide a reliable information base to enable well-informed policies and concrete actions to achieve efficient and effective climate change mitigation and adaptation. On this, I'm thanking you for your attention, and I'm thanking again all panelists for preparing wonderful presentation. Thank you for coming here and sharing your views. Thank you again.
Well, thank you very much, our esteemed panelists, and also our moderator, Dr. Glade, for the great session. So, yes,